And welcome to the Department of Small and Local Business Development's Money Monday series. This is part of our District Capitalized program brought to you from the Innovation and Equitable Development Ed Division. I'm Camille Nixon. We're very glad to have you today for the first of a multi-part series on financial tools. We'll take you on a virtual test drive, a tour of tools that will help you manage your money for your DC business. Today, we're focusing on money management tools. Again, I'm Camille Nixon. I'm Project and Capital Access Manager for DSLBD's NO.ed team. Please reach out to myself or my team at any time at no.ed@dc.gov. We'd love to meet with you one-on-one. We have 15-minute sessions available every week. This is how you can connect with us to meet in person by phone or through a WebEx or Teams. And then finally, you're welcome to call us. Although secretly, email and meeting by signing up for a session is probably the fastest way. Some of the projects I manage includes our District Capitalized program, which I'll speak about in a second, our newly launched DC Kiva Hub at DSLBD. This is a great way to access capital at any stage, but particularly if you're at the early stage or you have barriers to accessing capital through traditional loan products, Kiva might be for you. And then finally, I manage our dcbusinesstoolkit.com portal, wealth of information from all agencies and service providers in one place that can help you. And I'll give a little bit more information about how that'll help you with your financial management tools later on. If you're not familiar with DSLBD, the Department of Small and Local Business Development is a DC government agency. We support the development, economic growth, retention of district-based businesses, as well as DC-based residents exploring entrepreneurship. And we also promote the economic development throughout the district's corridors, like our main streets and business improvement districts. Our team, Innovation and Equitable Development, is one of several divisions at DSLBD. Again, this is how to reach out to us and also find the trainings that we provide. They're all posted on Eventbrite. And then that portal I mentioned, dcbusinesstoolkit.com, that's part of DSLBD's portfolio. Again, a great place to find information on a variety of topics for all stages and industries of business. District Capitalize is one of DSLBD's programs. It's our coordinated program where we try to pull together the products, guidance, and support the ecosystem of providers and lenders who are supporting you, our DC-based businesses. And we do that in a couple of ways. We offer loan products and other financing products directly, like the Kiva loan I mentioned, or we offer grants throughout the year. We have a Makers Grant coming up very soon. We offer guidance like this one, trainings, as well as consultations one-on-one, tools, videos, as do our ecosystem of partners who provide products and services, as well as guidance. So please check them out. You can always get updates. We have a monthly update about new resources that are coming online, including grants, loans, and classes. And you can subscribe to this email alert. And we promise it'll just be once or twice a month I'll get information, but it's all about money and how to manage it and obtain it. In addition to the session that we have today to show a quick tour of the tools, next Monday I'll be back, same time, same place, Monday at 3 p.m., where you can come in and drop in for open office hours. If you really want to dive a little deeper on how to use this tool specifically for your business scenario, or just how to get comfortable in accessing the tool, I'll be available to help. This is only for DC-based businesses, so when I send out the link, if you are DC-based business or DC resident exploring entrepreneurship, you'll get the link. If you don't and you are, and I didn't catch that, feel free to email me and I could work on that with you directly. If you can't make it next Monday, again, you can always email us or meet us through our booking site and we can meet one-on-one at another time. As I mentioned, this is the first of a multi-part series about financial tools. The next one will be in August, date to be determined, probably the third week of August, but I'll email you guys when it's set. Those tools will focus on earning and saving money. And then September, we'll have tools that'll focus on finding and borrowing money. Again, all these events are posted on our Eventbrite page. And finally, even sooner than that, more money, additional financing guidance is available from DSLBD. We have our great grant series that's wrapping up this week. The last one is on this Wednesday. However, all the previous ones are recorded on our YouTube site. And also our Kiva borrower information session. The next one is August 9th. It will have a focus on DC makers. If you make a product, food or otherwise, in the district, you don't have to be a maker to attend, but it will have a maker focus on August 9th. And again, all of those through our Eventbrite. And now, finally, let's dive into today's topic where we focus on money management tools. I'll do a quick overview on the tools. I kind of group them into three types, and then I'll do a demo of each. I don't know if we'll get to all of them. I might truncate a little bit just to make sure we can cover everything, but just know everything I'm sharing and that you see on the slides will be sent to you by email, and you'll be able to click through the slides to get to the various websites I'm mentioning. So don't stress about trying to write everything down. So here are the three groups that I'll be covering today for money management tools. DIY spreadsheets, do it yourself, software and calculators, and accountants and bookkeepers. You can manage your small business or even a larger business with just one. However, it's better that you look to see maybe using all three. And as we go through each of them, I'll kind of show how they interrelate. But the best tool of all is you. You are your best money management tool. Oprah shared years ago that even though she has a mega empire of enterprises, she is so up in her finances that she could see when her wardrobe line item increased. And she called her accountants together to ask why. If you want to find out the reason why, feel free to Google Oprah and Chanel suits to see why her wardrobe bill went up. But it was just very interesting to me that she was so in her individual line item information, even though she is Oprah, she is managing her money on a very close level. So that's something that I think we all can aspire to. So the first stop on today's tour are the DIY spreadsheets. So we'll be looking at Score and Google Sheets among the others. So this is a little bit about spreadsheets in general. If you're not familiar with them, one you might probably heard of a lot is Excel. That's one example of a spreadsheet. There are many others. And they're usually organized with a workbook and then they're individual sheets. And you can use it to add information, subtract, divide, your basic math, as well as more complicated things and lead up to making charts and graphs. It may seem overwhelming at first. I do recommend, even if you do eventually evolve to a software product or have someone do it for you, you should be comfortable in Excel. And here are some resources. The DC Public Library has tons of stuff. They have great books, both ebooks and books you pick up in person, as well as classes, both online, on demand, at your self-paced leisure, or live with an instructor. So I recommend you reaching out to DC Public Library. It's free to get a library card and you'll be off and running and getting more comfortable with Excel. The streets that we'll talk about today are free. There are some out there that do require a cost, but I think there's enough out there that you do not need to pay for these. Again, it's something that you should be comfortable with because it'll help you get like a general grasp of how to manage money and how to track money. It's great for making quick calculations. And even if you do have software, you probably will find at some point you want to kind of like work on some new scenarios. What if I did this? What if I moved to this market? You may not want to do that in your software data that you work so hard to enter and keep accurate. So you might want to export that out to Excel or another spreadsheet and kind of play with it there. Some disadvantages or things to be aware of if you are using the spreadsheets. If you're going using it only a spreadsheet, you'll find in time you will have to get more training because to get the advanced calculations you may need to manage your business money, you probably will need to get some training and spend some time setting up those formulas. It's definitely doable, but it's just a little more labor intensive. And of course, because we're humans doing all this instead of software, there's a greater chance you may have human error. Again, if you keep on top of it, you should be okay, but just be aware of that. So here are the three spreadsheets we're going to look at today, and I'm going to transition our screen for a hot second so I can do this live. So one moment, please. So we'll first dive into Google Sheets. A lot of you have Google Gmail accounts, or if not, you can get them for free. That's part of this large suite of Google products, including Sheets. You can use a personal one, which I'll show you, but also there's a Google Workspace, which hot off the press, it used to be for fee. Now it's for free as of last month. So I'll talk a little bit about that before we head on to the calculators and software. So if you were to click through on personal, it would open up your Google Drive and you'll have a chance to, let's do this here. You'll have a chance to start your own blank spreadsheet, which is fine. But they do have a couple of templates. If you go up here to template gallery, you can grab a couple of the more business focused templates, including the annual business budget, and that will open up a blank template for you to use. I've already opened one up so you could see it here. And forgive me, I'm gonna close down my video so I'll be able to move around and see the spreadsheets a little better as I'm doing the demo. So when you open it up, it'll first bring you to the first worksheet. And again, the worksheets, the spreadsheets include a workbook that has multiple sheets. In this case, at the bottom, you see setup, income, expenses, and summary. So you can, if this is assuming that you're starting a business or you have a starting balance, and then you plug in information. It comes with some pre-prepared fields, but you can also select any row and say I want to insert one above or below, and then add the information that you'd like to customize it to your type of business. And here this person has the sales for their products, as well as some income. Then they go to the expense section. Again, you can add information or remove information at any time. In this case, the person starting up their business looks like in August. And then at the end, it will pull it all together for you. On this page, you can't move anything. If you ever see anything, this is very common in some of the templates and also the software. If you see something that you don't like, you can find out where it came from and go back and change it. What I like is helpful. They show a graph, which looks okay. Expenses are going up and income's going down. That's kind of concerning, but how bad is it? As you can see, if this business was starting in August, they did have a starting balance of 5,000. The system will pull the data that you entered from the previous worksheet, income and expense. And then you can see it's all going to be okay, kind of, sort of, except you're going to run out of money in December. So this will help you on a very simple level figure out, okay, I can't run out of money in December. I can either increase my income or reduce my expenses. So you might want to jump back and figure, oh, I'm starting in August, but by December, maybe I can add some more catering opportunities. It's Christmas time. People like to start having holiday functions. Maybe I'll drop in a couple of catering gigs that'll total $1,000 a month and see if that will have an effect. And it looks like, yep, you narrowed it down. You will run out of money in December, but only by $100. So that's how you can use it to kind of visually see where you're at and make simple adjustments. This is a great example of a very streamlined way that you didn't have to do a lot of work to set it up, but you can start to kind of track your projections. And you can also change this to actuals. Instead of this is all right now, just projects what you think will happen August 4, but you can also put in your actual information that happened in January through the present. So that's Google Sheets using the personal sheets. If you click through to the Google Workplace, again, that also in that suite has sheets, but it also will allow you to have collaboration with other people. So if you have other staff members who are working with you or an accountant maybe, this is a way that you can have collaboration amongst each other, both for their worksheets and their other products that are to help with writing documents or making presentations. There are two other free suites that include worksheets, spreadsheets that you might be interested in. LibreOffice is a completely free code software. They call their spreadsheets Calc. So that's something I've used this before. It's pretty straightforward. It doesn't have all the robust features that you may find in Excel, but it's fairly close and probably good enough. Also, Polaris is another free suite. This has some ads that are in there, but otherwise it's a free option if you're not able to purchase a larger Microsoft or other suite that's out there. Moving on in the DIY spreadsheets, my favorite spreadsheet. When I found this, I didn't know what gem I had come across, so I hope that you'll have a chance to use it and play around with it. It's SCORE, which is a national organization, nonprofit of retired business owners and managers who volunteer a lot through mentoring, but also through the SBA funding. They have a lot of online content, both workshops as well as templates like this. This link will be in the slide. It's both a template. I encourage you also, when you do go, if you go use this, to check out the training and the guide that's in English and Spanish. It's a pretty robust product, as I'll show you in a moment. So it's probably something that you want to read up a little bit. I'm going to walk you through. I'll probably spend a little bit more time on this one than the other demos because I love this so much. And even if you do get a software and an accountant this is really great to kind of help bring it all together for you. If it gets overwhelming, kind of see how all the pieces fit together. So as I mentioned, this is the workbook, and inside are several sheets, so directions, starting point. It might seem like things are repeating. So worksheet number 2 has a payroll, but it's payroll for year 1 and years 1 through 3. Worksheet 3 is sales forecast for 1 and 1 through 3 on down. And it's set up so that anything that's in orange, you can enter the data. Like here, I'm going to put my name. It will turn to a yellowish color, which means that it's changeable. You can change it anywhere. And once you enter it here, it carries forward elsewhere. So here I have the starting month of September. And if I look at my expenses, it starts at September. But if I want to change that, I can just go back here and change this to July, and it will change there as well. So if you ever see something white and you want to change it, go find the orange or yellow, and then you'll be able to change it. There are some things that are locked, but the entire worksheet can be unlocked by entering this code 123. Look for the instructions on that. That'll be helpful if you want to customize it a little more, but I think from the get-go, you could probably just leave it locked and get through with that. I do encourage you, there's a lot of different spreadsheets, and as you get familiar with how you want to manage your money, you'll be using different ones. But I encourage you definitely to start off with a starting point. This is like as you're opening, so say you're going to make improvements to your commercial space, you're going to build out for plumbing and flooring, and let's say that's going to be $4,000. And you think maybe the value of that will depreciate after 4 years. So you can see that this occurs here and will appear later on when we start looking at costs for improvement. You can enter some of your other pre-launch expenses here, inventory, legal. You'll hear me plug, even though you're using this, you probably do want to hire an accountant or to help you set up your books at first. And other information. What I love here is after you enter your fixed assets, your operating capital, it will tell you, guess what? You're going to need some more money or reduce your costs. So I might say, maybe I'm not going to build out super fancy build out. I'm just going to keep the basic stuff, keep it kind of low. 200 is kind of low, 2,000. But then here you can also try to see, oh, maybe I need to get some loan or investment, or maybe you're going to use the Kiva. Here I'm going to say, okay, to make up the 6,000, I'm going to go for a Kiva loan. And you can make a note here. Oh, no, you can't. I have to open up this, the password to do that. Keep as a 0% loan, so I'm going to change that. And that amount you'll probably end up repaying over 24 months. So this information will carry forward when you're looking for expenses. This is $250 a month for your commercial loan. And here I'm going to jump to worksheet 5. You can see it's already figured out that that commercial loan at $500 is coming in $42 a month. So this will jump, you can use this back and forth without having to do it yourself. The system will do it for you. I'm going to jump past payroll to just show you a little bit of how the forecasting works as you're trying to figure out your income for sales, and then we'll look at the operating expenses before we move to the next demo. So here I pre-populated this for it's a bakery. I'm guessing they're selling wedding cakes for $300 to the public, but it costs them about $200 to make. So their margin on that 20-inch wedding cake is $100. I'm just estimating if it's opening in July, I'm starting kind of new, no one knows me, maybe I'm lucky I'll sell 2 cakes. And then we'll figure out, okay, so I'll make $200 on 2 cakes. The margin of 100 times the 2 gives me 200, but the system is doing this for me. All I have to do is plug in the amounts. So maybe August is kind of quiet, it's doldrums. Maybe I can pick up the sales in September and it'll adjust it for me. And you can keep adding products here, and as you add a product, it will add it below. So we do a cupcake, we'll do a pack of a dozen. 1 unit of that is a little bit of a discount for 50. And the cost for me doing that is $60. I'm sorry. And then we'll add it down here. So you can keep the more you add here, the more we'll add down here. And it'll figure out over time each month what your total sales are, your goods sold, your total margins, and then that will carry forward to your cash flow. That's number 6. So you can see here the money coming in, that 1,600 from July is being populated here. 1,550 from August, 2,150 from September. It's moving along. Oops. It's coming through from here. So that makes it really easy for you to kind of follow along. If you continue and then add your operating expenses, that's 5A. You're going to be renting a truck to move your products. You have some supplies. You can add things here. Again, it's already populated information you may have pulled from other parts of the site. And eventually that will roll up into your cash flow where you can see the sales that you're getting, plus those expenses that we just shared, both the cost of goods that came from your sales thing, the operating expenses, which came from number 5, as well as any type of loan payments that came from the starting point worksheet, all rolls up, and you can start to see if you will be running out of money. And it looks like you are running out of money a bit here. And if this is too small for people to see, let me know. I'm just going to increase the size right now. But you can see from the get-go, you're operating in a negative, but not too far off. It looks like come February, things are looking better. So what you might try to do is in July, go back to your sales forecast. If you don't think you can move more products because it's too early on, you might want to consider reducing your expenses if you can in July. Maybe you were buying a lot early, but maybe you don't have to buy all the flour at once. Maybe you could knock that flour down to $600 and then add in more flour later on as you need it to try to reduce your costs. And then you could see if that would help. Yep, it got you down to 250. So you can kind of play around with the numbers. Again, this is a projection, but you can also start to use it for an actual if you wanted. You just probably want to save it and have it operating as an actual for when the money is coming in and it's calculated. You add that in for July, and then August is the forecast looking forward. And there's some other features down here. There's a break even down further and 8, their balance sheet. So there's a lot of good things in here. I'll kind of leave it for here. This is something if you'd like to learn how to use this more, you can join us next week on Monday at 3 o'clock or set up some time with us. This is a great, awesome spreadsheet that I hope you'll get to use from SCORE. So now we're going to jump into software and calculators. You've probably all heard of QuickBooks. That's probably one of the go-to software packages for businesses looking to manage their money. Wave is a free one, which is incredible that it is free. I'll tell you how that is. And I'll show you a couple of calculators at SBA and Bankrate. A little bit about software and calculators in general. Some are free. The calculators generally are free. The accounting software generally is not, and it can get quite expensive, but you can definitely scale it. You don't need a super robust thing starting out of the gate. And it's probably likely, even if you have a more advanced business, that you can still operate on a moderate to low cost software package. You generally need little to no experience. There's tons of instructions both built into the software as well as tutorials that are available online or through YouTube or other places. Tons of commonly used templates. You are not the first business using it, so you benefit from all the other templates businesses have made comments on and the software company has improved. It's great to get specific analysis on different aspects of your businesses, and most of them allow for multiple users. The challenge, as with most things when it comes to technology, is only as good as the data that you're entering. So if you have incorrect information, it's just going to carry forward. And sometimes it's hard to find when you entered it wrong in one place. So be very conscious of that. Sorry for the formatting on the screen. When I imported it, kind of got a little wonky. It's definitely something where you use it consistently is the best thing, especially for the analysis piece. If you're skipping around months, you enter for September, but not so much in October, it'll still work for you, but you're not getting the full benefit of understanding exactly where your business is at any point in time and a true pulse check on your financial situation. 2 important heads up. One got cut off when it was reformatted. Watch to see who the app developer is, especially for the free ones, all of them in general, but specifically ones that are free, because nothing is free. if it's free to use, someone else is paying for it. They're likely selling your data to someone else who will pay for that data. And that could just not just be your business data, it could be also the data of your employees, if you have their social security numbers or their addresses, if you're using the software for payroll. So you want to be very conscientious about who's owning it, how they're using your data, the security when you're entering things. And also the permissions you give. Perhaps you've set up the account, which is ideal. You set up the software account, and then you give your accountant the permission or staff the permission, not the other way around. That way, if something should happen, you need to part ways with your accountant, you can just cease their permission through the software. If they're actually owning the software account instead of you, it means that you have to beg them to turn that over to you. And that's what got caught off of here, which says backup online regularly. You want to back up online in general, and you want to be able to do so, especially if your accountant is sharing information with you, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So here are the, oh, it really got messed up. Sorry for the formatting. When you get this presentation by email, it'll be a clean version, not the web version of it. So let's jump into Wave for a hot minute. Oh, sorry, my view is being blocked by, here we go. So this is a little picture of Wave. This is kind of generally what it looks like, but I opened up the software so we could look at and start up an account. So here when you start Wave, I just started a blank version for Honey Bakery. You'll have a launch pad, which kind of gives you an idea of the free things that it generally does. It can do invoicing, bookkeeping, this is probably where you'll live a lot, and payroll. I mentioned it's free, but of course someone's paying them, right? So the way they get paid is actually if you're using them for movement of money, not just tracking the money that's moving, but you're actually using the software to pay people or receive payment. That's when you have to pay them a fee to do that, as you would with probably your credit card and other ways to move money. So that's how they make their money. And that's how over the years they've paid to have most of the free stuff improved and added on. There's a lot going on, but in the time we have, I'll just let you know the dashboard, similar to what I showed you on the very simple version of Google Sheets, will give you kind of a look at what's happening, your cash flow, your income and expense, which is also called profit and loss, upcoming bills that are due. It kind of gives you a quick snapshot. But you get there by building both your sales, so this is your income, and your purchases. So for sales, you can start off by adding the general products that you sell. So just like in the score worksheet, we listed the general sales items, a wedding cake, the 20-inch version, the 30-inch version, the price difference between those two, single cupcakes versus dozens. You start to add up your products or services. Here you can have catering. And then as you're getting sales for that, either invoices or estimates, you can select which ones you're getting in. So maybe you're giving someone an estimate, the wedding is coming up in the fall, you'd like to give an estimate to the Amari wedding, it's going out this date, and they'd like to buy both a catering service to pass the cake, and they'd also like to buy the cake itself. And maybe they're going to give their guests a takeaway of the mini version of the cake in the form of cupcakes. They're going to get 10 of those. They have a large party. So here you just create yourself an estimate that you can give to them based on the initial information you entered on the different types of goods and their cost. Similarly, you can set up your purchases by first, and these are the things that you're buying. What I like about this is when you click through here, if you want to add something, it'll kind of give you a quick instruction. But also, if you click down here, they have really cool help as you're entering your information. It will start to have a chat person, Autobot, answer your common questions and give you links to instructions. So that's available to you. But here you can have catering, bartending, just bar, and the price. So these are things that we're buying. Things that we're buying. You're buying liquor for your catering. And you're going to buy, I'm just gonna say $100 bottle, one bottle. And then you are buying this, and this comes into the category of raw materials, let's say. And then that's available so that when you do get a bill from a vendor, you'll be able to add it. And these are bills that came in before. I'm gonna say maybe there was a bill from, oops, this is the filter. I'm gonna create a bill here from the flour company. Maybe it came in last month and they charged me for a pallet of flour. I just got one. When I've added that $500, it will appear in your dashboard as an overdue bill because it's probably coming up on being due. Let's see. Oh, not quite. You have a couple more days to go, but it will change there. So that's a quick look at some of the features. As you can see, there's more information that you can use for accounting. You can live connect it to your bank account. So again, be sure this does have a secured site, but with any software, make sure that the connection is secured so that when you're pulling down your business bank account information, it is having the proper security protocols. You can use it for payroll. Some of these are for free. Some of them you'll need to pay a fee to use it. And then finally, I did want to show they have a lot of integrations on this, which is just seems to be adding more and more every time I look. So we just use Google Sheets. If you were to set up initially your information, your forecasting in Google Sheets or your budget, you can add a connection so that they talk to each other. This is helpful if you're trying to merge what you did in Google Sheets into this software, or maybe your accountant primarily is using this software and they can export stuff to you, or you can just pull it down through Google. You'll actually have to log in to do it. So that's a cool integration. And they also have other things too that might be helpful if you want to, that wedding that we're booking to give the estimate, you might want to book a tasting session for them. So you can have this software connect to your calendar through this, use this app that will allow it to connect to schedule things related to some of the expenses that you're incurring or that the services that you're providing. Um, Email, if you're trying to reconnect with all those people who bought cakes or cupcakes for back to school last year, you can set up your connection so that it's looking for your software here to see what your sales were, who you sold cupcakes to last September. And then you can email them and say, hey, do you guys want to buy them again? So this is something which is kind of nice that you can do some of these. Most of these I think are free, that you'll be able to connect with other software. I will pause on that one and quickly shift to two calculators. I won't use them in the interest of time, but just to let you know, the SBA is full of calculators. This is one I've used before, the break-even calculator. A lot of the calculators you'll find, unlike this, the software, they do something very specific. It's great for something on the fly, or if you're just trying to get a grasp of what is break-even. It will allow you for just focusing on narrowing on just the one or two data points to get to answer that question, when will you break even? You can use the calculators to find that out. So it's a great way to kind of get comfortable with the concepts without having to deal with the whole spreadsheet or the whole software, which can be sometimes overwhelming. Another site that you might want to go to is Bankrate. They have calculators both for residential, sorry, for residential, for individuals, personal and business, like their gross profit margin calculator. It's a quick one to see what your margin will be. Again, you saw that we were able to calculate that in the score worksheet, but that might be buried for you in a whole bunch of worksheets, whereas this one just zones into that one specific use. So I really recommend using calculators for that purpose, kind of zoning in. And we're always adding more calculators to the business, dcbusinesstoolkit.com. I'd like to jump to now, looking at time. Hopefully we'll get through all of it. The next, the final stop on tour today is accountants and bookkeepers. Now, a little bit about accountants and bookkeepers and kind of the difference between the two. A bookkeeper is someone who will record or enter financial data wherever you want. It could be into your spreadsheet, into the software, and then they also can organize that for you. Whereas the accountant kind of takes that data to the next level and they'll interpret it, they'll analyze it. Some may give you financial advice on it. And then they'll also present the information to you and create reports. And they generally have knowledge of the tax code and changes, although you may have a regular accountant and then one that you hire just for taxes, depending on how robust your finances is for your business. So there are accountants who specialize in tax. A lot of them have a general understanding, but some may get very specific into tax law as it relates to your business. For accountants, they're awesome because again, I encourage you not just to settle on one type of tool, to take advantage of all three. And specifically at some point, particularly if you're starting up, to have someone set up your books correctly from the beginning will be a great help. Again, they've probably looked at many different types of businesses over time and can help you set up a system that's right for your business type and size. And they're familiar with all the reports, and they'll know the questions that you should be asking them, but you don't know to ask. It's kind of hard to ask questions if you don't know the topic, right? So if you're not as familiar with finances, they kind of know the questions you should be asking, even though you may not. If you're doing specific activities like milestones in your business, if you're looking to get an evaluation of your business, to see if you'd like to sell it, its value before you sell it to someone else, that's a critical time. If you've been audited, that's definitely another time to pull in an accountant. And again, at the beginning when you're starting out, it is an additional cost. So everything we've spoken about right now, up until now, the tools have all been free. This is a cost for it, but I think it's very much needed. You should definitely budget to have at least an accountant at the start, if not throughout, a bookkeeper throughout. One thing you want to make sure is you have an accountant who's available to you in emergencies. Emergency can be, oh my gosh, I just got a huge utility bill, or oh my gosh, there's a grant available and it's due tomorrow. Can you help me pull together what I need for that grant or that loan opportunity? So you want someone who can be responsive. You also want to have 24/7 access to your data. This is your business data, and have backups. This is critical. If any accountant is unwilling or uncomfortable to do that, you might need to look for a different accountant or bookkeeper. Again, I mentioned before, even for the software, you should be the owner of the software and you give them permission, not the other way around. You want to check their credentials to see if they're actually currently licensed to be an accountant in the city, and get references, which brings us to our final set of tools. I'll walk through three actually. Oh, I really got messed up. Three to help you find accountants and to see if they're certified. So let me jump into those. So first up, if you haven't heard of CBE, that's Certified Business Enterprise, it's a program actually run by my agency, DSLBD. It looks and certifies that business is actually headquartered here in the district. It looks at a couple of different criteria that they meet that, but once they're considered to be located here in the district, they're called a CBE. They can get additional designations like small manufacturer, resident owned, but the key ones that they're all local or headquartered here. So that's a great place. While DSWD can't give a referral to any one particular accountant or bookkeeper, we can share with you this list of certified CBE accountants. And the way you look for it is you come to this website, and then you want to look up the NIGP code. And don't worry that you don't know it, because neither do I. I just click on select NIGP code here in the middle. I make sure my option here for description word is, because I have no idea what that code is. I'll type in accounting and then click search. And I'll scroll down to see a lot of stuff has come up, and you can select them all if you'd like. I'm going to select this one. The ones that end up in 1,000 are usually good because they're kind of top level. So I'm going to click that one. Maybe I'll click the payroll one, and you can click them all if you'd like, and then scroll to the top, and I'll say I'm done selecting my codes. They're now in there. And the key thing, which to this day I also forget, is then I have to hit search because otherwise you're looking at the full list of CBEs and not the ones who just have these codes. So once you click search, you know you're in a good space because that number here got much lower. It's down to 42. And you can click through each one to see a little bit more about them as well as how to reach them. You could also export this list. Export select will just export these 42 that you found. Export all will export all the CVs in the system, which is not a bad thing, but it's more information than you need. So that's one way to narrow down any bookkeepers or accountants that are certified to be local. Another way to do that is the dcbusinesstoolkit.com has a feature called Shop Local DC Directory, and anyone can look at it. But if you want to access the feature I'm about to show you, you'll need to be signed in as a business, and it's free to sign in, and actually you get to promote yourself as well as look for other businesses. So I have a dummy account here, and I'm going to sign in. So I'm signing in as a business. So if I go to Shop Local DC Directory, this networking feature here on the left shows up. And I mentioned this here because you can just search here for straight up accountants that you're looking for people under industry with financials, and these are all verified local, which means they're either a CBE, a made in DC maker, or we get verified that they're licensed here in the district. So it's kind of a bigger data set than just the CBEs. And here you can just find other accountants or bookkeepers by searching on any industry, any business of industry, financial, will clear this. But I actually wanted to show you the networking, because part of it is like getting a list of accountants and bookkeepers is somewhat easy, but figuring out which one's a good one for you and getting those referrals, that might be a little tougher if you don't know a lot of businesses. So you can select all of these. They are for other types of networking around B2B, group purchasing. But what's key is these are all businesses who indicate in some form or another they want to connect with other businesses. They're willing to network on topics. So you can select all of them and then maybe narrow it down. If I'm still that bakery, I'm going to narrow it down to food-based businesses who express some interest in networking with each other. And I might call them and say, hey, Harambe, I'm going to call them, check out their email, say, I'm looking to hire an accountant or bookkeeper. Have you used one for your food business? Tell me about your experience. So that might be a way to connect to get those important referrals, because everything looks great on paper and there are a lot of good accountants and bookkeepers out there, but you want to hear if they're a great fit for you and your particular industry and stage. And again, that's through the dcbusinesstoolkit.com. I'm going to jump back to the presentation. So that was a quick whirlwind. I hope it wasn't too fast. I want to leave some time for questions. Again, these are just some examples of tools. DSLBD doesn't endorse, well, except for our tools, which are the toolkit and the CBE. And DCRA is part of the DC government. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do that one. Oh my goodness, let me see if I can grab that really quick. DCRA, very important. Yes. So I missed a very important thing. Of all the level lists of CBE or other local accountants or bookkeepers, you want to make sure that you come through and see if they're currently licensed. That means that they're accredited. So you can come and just enter their name right here, either the name of the individual business, Acme bookkeepers, or maybe the bookkeeper or accountant themselves. Sometimes they're listed as an individual person and not the whole business. You can also just get a full list of businesses who are in the DCRA system by just looking up accountants. And you can click again the individual person to get a list of certified public accountants and the individual or the corporation. They even have a list, by the way, I just passed it, of people not to practice. So if you're a potential accountant, you're about to hire something not to practice list, you might want to look again to find another accountant. And you can just pull out a full list of accountants. Again, it'll be fairly long. This is almost 12,000 people. Some are no longer certified, some expired, some are not. Our current, but again, you kind of want to combine figuring out who was certified and available, and then maybe see if you can find some of their clients either by asking them for referrals or seeing if they're listed in the toolkit and be able to connect with people like that. So this document I'll send later this week will have links to all these. There are many, many more. I tried to narrow down a couple that were definitely free and I've either used or found them to be easy to use. You may have examples where I'd love to hear about them. Again, we aren't endorsing any particular one, but we just wanted to give you a quick tour of available options. The key takeaway I hope you have is that from either DIY, very easy, all the way up to having an accountant or working with software. There are many options out there, but all three options do involve you. This is not something you can like sign off and just have someone take care of it. You do need to be involved, and you probably want to because you want to be able to interpret and understand what your accountant is telling you, and you also want to be able to interpret on your own what you're seeing in the software or the spreadsheets. Let's see, I'm gonna look to see, I don't see anything in the chat. I think everyone should have the ability to unmute. If you could drop a question in the chat or you can unmute. And also if we have time, I'd love to hear from you if you're using a software, a spreadsheet, if you have any recommendations on what you use that you find helpful or things that you may not want to use in the future, recommend others maybe avoid. Feel free to drop those in the chat as well. Oh, I'm glad you found this helpful. Sorry it was so fast. I was concerned I wouldn't get to everything, and that's why I built in the office hours next week. So it was kind of a quick tour. If you wanted to drop in next week at 3 o'clock to get some general group guidance for myself, there might be other businesses in the room. We could talk about whoever gets there first, talk about your product of interest. How do you get training? Sure. To get training, more guidance specifically on this topic, you can come next Monday at 3 o'clock, or let me jump back up to our screen here. You can sign up to meet with us at inno.ed booking through Bitly right here. And you'll see times to meet with me. Sometimes they get booked, well, we all get booked. There are four of us in the group, myself, Shannon, Caroline, and Kate. But you can book time with any of us. And also you can always drop me an email. Just write to me at inno.ed@dc.gov. If you're trying to meet with me specifically on book, let me know. I will try to find some time sooner than later to help you. All of our trainings are posted, including live webinars like this one, are posted on our Eventbrite. And what I didn't put in here, I will put in the version I sent you, is our link to our YouTube channel, or you can just search YouTube for DSLBD. All of our Inno.ed trainings, including this one, go onto that Inno.ed channel for the YouTube at some point. So feel free to check those out. Let's see. Oh, great. I heard from Nathan. Hello, Nathan. Thanks for joining us today. Nathan shared that he uses the score spreadsheet. Your mentors have worked you through that. Yeah, I think it's something that would be helpful to have someone work through it with you, either DSLBD or use the information that, so let me jump back there. Use the information that SCORE has, which is they have a whole guide in English and in Spanish, and they also have a video tutorial. Thank you, Shannon. I'm glad you found it helpful. Any other questions or suggestions on tools that you've used for managing money? If not, I encourage you to join us next week for the office hours. And if you're not able to, you can again sign up later. I will send a link just for the DC-based businesses. Molly, where we are, we're based here in the District of Columbia, Washington, DC. So the tools I share with you is open to anybody, but that one-on-one guidance that we often give, that is just for DC-based businesses or DC residents exploring to start a business here in the district. But you can definitely come. I think almost all our webinars are open to anybody. But again, most of the content's for DCs sometimes, and generally for for-profit, not for non-profit. For for-profit entities, not for non-profit entities. And then we'll have a similar demo next month, probably the third week, focused on tools and things to help you with earning and saving money. And then September, we'll focus on finding funding and also borrowing money. Oh, Molly's asking if their office hours in Ward 8. Funny you should ask that. So we just started office hours again in Ward 8 at the Hive on Thursdays. I don't have the information here, but I'll make a note to share it in my email. They're general technical assistance hours. It is hosted by my colleague Shannon Taylor. She is our Made in DC and DC-based brands coordinator. So if you're a maker, you're in luck. You're in the right spot. And if you're just generally any type of business, she would be able to help you. Those are some current in-office hours. We will be having also in-office hours at the MLK Library, I believe, starting in August. It's tentatively for Wednesday. We're working out the final logistics right now. And we're always looking for more space. But for Ward 8 on Thursdays, that will be available at the Hive. I'm gonna make a note to share that in the email that I send out. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This is the first of many, hopefully, tools that we'll be sharing. I hope that you found them helpful. And definitely drop me an email if you've used them and you found a feature that you liked about them, or you find another tool that we haven't mentioned that you thought other colleagues would love, because I'd love to pass it along to them. Oh, thank you, Chadwick. Yes, I'm glad you were able to join us. I'm glad you all were able to join us. And we hope we'll see you next week for open office hours or some of our other workshops in the future. I hope you'll have a great afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.